I have to laugh because I've started this video twice in the past few minutes, and both times Alexa chimed in with, "Don't forget the Phillies game."
Sure how to help you with that.
I've started this video twice before this take, and it was going to be a sort of serious take on a few things that I've been thinking about lately. And each time, Alexa has interrupted to tell me that the Phillies game is going to start at 10:10. She was very helpful in having me remember the Phillies game starts. And I don't take those notifications off. And so whenever I go to record audio or in this case video, invariably Alexa will be talking about the Phillies. I've said its name again. Must remember to refer to her as the robot. So let's see if we can get past the robot this time. We live in interesting times. And the thing I wanted to say about these times is not necessarily what's been going on in the world. Yes, they're interesting. More interesting to me lately. I'm expecting less and less and less of the world every day, and it's probably gotten my mind into the weirdest place ever. It's interesting to me that I have amongst my friends on social media sites at least two former teachers of mine, one from high school and one from grade school, both English teachers, and both had an incredible impact on my life. They've allowed me and they taught me and they showed me how to become the eloquent speaker you see before you. Seriously, I can put together some thoughts and sound intelligent because of these two guys, especially amongst a lot of my other teachers. These two happen to be friends on social media. I won't use last names because I don't want to embarrass anybody, especially if I don't sound eloquent and intelligent in this video. But Tom and Paul, thank you very much. You made a big impact on my life. I don't know how happy they'll be to hear that from an almost 50 years ago student, but it's true. Um, Also, you may ask yourself while I'm doing this, why is he wearing headphones? Nobody else wears headphones. Why is he speaking into an old school microphone? It's because I'm old. I started in radio and I wear cans and I use a SM58. That's just the way it goes. I don't have a lavalier mic yet. Haven't spent the $24.99 or whatever I need to spend on it. Back to the subject at hand. Thanks to those two teachers, I never met a digression I didn't like, though. Bear that in mind. As I was saying, interesting times to have two teachers from my distant past as friends on social media. It thrills me to no end. It also makes me happy when they like things that I post. I'm happy that these two different gents from two different schools, two different backgrounds, have an agreement with some of the things that I say. I was beginning to think that nobody had any kind of agreement with what I say or what I think. It's very gratifying to have former teachers like something. It's really weird and it's amazing. Thanks to those two guys. I've been thinking a lot about the country. Oh, you may have noticed my shirt. I don't know if you can see it all that well, but this man was the early 20th century version. I I would describe him as the early 20th century version of George Carlin. Very different style, but in the way he was held in regard by the public, very similar. An orator of high renown, social critic, social commentator. Um, they diverge. George was more of a pessimist, while Will Rogers, who was on this shirt, was more of an optimist. In fact, Will Rogers was famous for possibly saying he never met a man he didn't like. And at least that is what is attributed to him. So I had the shirt made up. Safe to say I never met Will Rogers, but Will's not here to argue the point, so I'm just going to go with it. It's based on somebody else's musical lyric anyway. What also strikes me as funny is the phrase, may you live in interesting times. Now, when I was young and coming up through school, I don't know if we were taught this, if we just learned this through a osmosis or handed down generation to generation. May you live in interesting times was sort of relayed to people my age when I was young as some sort of Eastern curse upon the West. May you live in interesting times. Well, my very, very shallow dive into finding out the background of that statement and that quote or curse or whatever you want to call it, it only goes back to the early 20th century, and it's probably attributed to an English diplomat. But, would you rather know that, or would you rather think, oh, that's some sort of ancient Eastern curse? Either way, we're living in interesting times. And I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea about what I'm going to say. But lately, I have been thinking about the country as if it were a character in a Shakespearean play. Now, one of these guys taught me, one of these specific teachers taught me about this very thing. And I just wanted to see if I could do it. It's only going to be a little bit. Anyway, as a country, I would think right about now, America, if it had a universal mind, would be thinking something along the lines of to be or not to be. That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take up arms against them, or to take up arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing, end them, to die, to sleep, no more, and by a sleep to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation. Devoutly to be wished, to die, to sleep perchance the dream, aye, there's the rub. For in the sleep of death, what dreams may come. Or something like that. Those two guys made me think about it a long time ago. And that's the way I think that the universal consciousness of America may be thinking about life at the moment. Anyhow, thank you to Tom and Paul for being such a big influence on me. It meant a lot. It still means a lot. And it's gratifying to know that they're still out there. They're still around. Every once in a while, they tune in to something I've said and even go out of their way to like it or, whatever you do on whatever social media platform. I appreciate the acknowledgement of some people who took the time to teach me something that's important to me. I wish more people would have listened to their teachers as closely. I wish more people had teachers like these now or 20 years ago. I really wish that the children of my daughter's era had people who were so concerned about relaying knowledge and getting an idea across that was, if not correct in quotes, they're trying to nudge you in a direction that was right or of some moral value or some moral compass and a way to distinguish between truth and prevarication. To be able to have the capacity to divine the difference between BS and something that's worth your time to listen to. I got that. I received that as my education, not just in my English classes, but it just so happens that two of the guys that taught me English are part of my friends in the broad sense on social media. And the time you took to teach me meant a lot and still does. And your students haven't forgotten you all these years later. Sorry, don't want to date you, but I'm dating myself as well. Anyway, just wanted to say thanks. Have a good night. Love you guys.